Question number 7, Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Question to the Minister of Labour. Does she stand by her statement that the new minimum wage announced yesterday strikes the right balance between protecting low-paid workers and ensuring that jobs are not lost?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Darien Fenton.
How is the balance right when New Zealand's top 48 CEOs received an average pay increase of $202,000 in 2010, while thousands of Kiwis on the minimum wage have received a pay increase of just 19 cents an hour in real terms over the past 4 years under her watch?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, as the member knows, that the annual task of setting the minimum wage is always a balancing act. It's been a dilemma for many ministers of Labour. We set it at the rate that we thought was the most sustainable to protect employers' purchasing power whilst not jeopardising jobs and resulting in job losses. Had we increased it to $15 per hour, our advice was that this could have resulted in the loss of up to 5,500 jobs, and we weren't prepared to actually jeopardise those jobs because our commitment is on job protection, not job destruction.
Darien Fenton.
Why does she continue to insist that there will be job losses and increasing the minimum wage when Treasury advice is to the contrary?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, the member makes a very interesting point because the Treasury's advice also recommended a nil increase. We did not accept that advice. In fact, the Department of Labour's advice recommended a 30-cent increase. We actually didn't accept that because we thought a 50-cent increase per hour was actually fair and reasonable and sustainable in the circumstances.
Darien Fenton.
To the Minister, how will she balance the increasing cost of living and low pay for young people on minimum wage when she moves this year to pass legislation to cut their minimum wage by 20%?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, certainly the question of youth unemployment is an issue that we are all grappling with. We want to give employers the incentive to take on young people, and we want flexible market regime and flexible employment regime that actually encourages businesses to get ahead, to take on those young people, to get their first foot on that employment ladder.
Darien Fenton.
To the Minister, will the 50-cent minimum wage increase address income inequality and reduce poverty, or was the Minister of Maori Affairs correct when he said, quote, such a modest adjustment from $13 to $13.50 does not reflect the political courage and strategic vision we need to eliminate poverty? And is this another example of a growing rift with the Māori Party?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
In relation to the last portion of that question, no. But nobody is saying that this is a silver bullet to actually addressing the poverty issue. This is just one measure, and it's actually interesting when we use the same methodology that was used in 2002 by the then Minister Margaret Wilson. And what I would like to ask of that member is why is it when Labour have an increase in line with wage growth, it's a fairer deal?
Is the member hard at hearing? The ministers do not ask other members questions. Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Leave to table the Conference and Supply Agreement between the New Zealand First Party and Labour of 2005, which put the minimum wage up from $9 an hour to $12 an hour.
Order. The member will now resume his seat. That agreement is public knowledge, and we don't need to waste time tabling such documents. Supplementary question, is it the Honourable Dr. Pita Sharples?
When will the Minister come to the realisation that an extra $16.50 per week, which is the after-tax increase for a person working 40 hours a week on the minimum wage, will not reverse the dire plight of children who are living in minimum wage households, and that if she raised the minimum wage to $16 per hour, which is the Māori Party's policy, $99 per week would go to those whānau who really need it.
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, can I say that I do share the honourable member's concern about children in low-income households. It is an important issue and one that we discussed during the minimum wage consultation. But as I've said, Mr Speaker, the minimum wage is no silver bullet. The government is assisting low-income workers in a number of ways, including through schemes such as Working for Families. We are determined, sir, to create the right environment to encourage businesses to grow and create more jobs, rather than legislate an unsustainable and arbitrary minimum wage level and risk the loss of significant jobs.
Question number 8, Pesita Sam Lord Tuyunga.
Thank you, Mr.